Hi, my name's Joe from GWS Roofing. Welcome to Roofing IQ, the channel where we try to make roofing make sense. Today we're in St John's Wood, North London at this residential flat roof refurb. Hang around and we'll show you an area of the roof which often gets overlooked, but in truth should be given the most attention. Okay, so we first got this inquiry because there was a leak above a bathroom. The contractor that installed the flue hasn't really made much of an effort to weather around it. We see this quite often. Boiler flues, any electrical cables for satellite dishes, etc. coming up through the roof. If there's not a marriage between the person fitting the flue and a roofer, this can often end up failing quite quickly. So despite the crudeness of that, the rest of the roof is actually in not too bad condition. Our intention was, however, to replace it at the request of the client. As we always have done, we've taken some test cores and established that there actually isn't any moisture within the roofing system. But unbeknownst to us, what is actually here on this roof is a cut to fall system. So you need to be able to encourage the rainwater to get from one part of the roof to another, and you can achieve that in two ways. The first way is through the plywood deck set to falls, or as it is in this scenario, a cut to falls insulation where you have thicker insulation at the top edge and it narrows down to a less thick insulation towards the outlet. The issues with installing the cut to falls insulation system is that you really do need a tin hat. It's because the work becomes quite laborious and quite piecemeal. Whereas if it's a standard flat board, the process is quite quicker and you can then sort of rely on overnight joints to get you through. Overnight joints are possible with a torch on felt system because you can literally torch on where you finish and walk away. EPDM and liquid systems are more sensitive and again would necessitate a temporary roof. But for now at least, we're installing a warm deck insulated system using 150mm flat board. There was a provisional sum in for timber rot prior to starting, and we may need to communicate with the client that we use that provisional sum, albeit there's no timber rot, but to create the falls using timber. So again, it'll be cost neutral and the warranty will still be there, but the way we go about achieving it will be different. We did a test score on the wall as well. The vapor barrier you should see go up behind this wall. I think this wall's probably quite cold and then the building's quite warm and it's meant that this ply is sweating. So again, in an overlay situation, if you're seeking to overlay this and take the liquids up behind this lead capping, the fact that this is sweating isn't great, so this might still need to come off, albeit we can probably still overlay the flat roof. There's not much cover on this lead capping either. You'd expect that to come past 50mm. So replacing the lead capping might also be something we need to potentially discuss, or maybe come up and over and get rid of this lead capping entirely and just finish it with an external trim on the outside. Lastly, but ironically, the first thing we end up doing is the outlet. You can see the ponding here. The reason for the ponding is that outlets end up ironically being the one place on the roof where there's the most material trying to overlap each other. So these outlets really need a lot of care and attention. It's the first thing you should do and try and sit it as low as possible. Previous contractor has sort of cut a plastic pipe in half and married it to the roof, but it's not ideal. What we should see here is a nice lead chute with a wide flange that you can then weather onto. The sump will be approximately this size. We'll still insulate it to avoid cold bridging, but once that's done, everything can then envelope on top and offer the warranty as we want to. On a building of this size, for us, edge protection and a handrail is absolutely paramount. In terms of advice, what's important to keep in mind is that we're obviously hugely responsible for our employees. All of them carry out working at heights courses annually. But for a homeowner, making sure your contractor is aware of those responsibilities is just as important for yourself as it is for us, as if, God forbid, anything should happen to anybody throughout the works, the homeowner is culpable as much as the contractor is. So health and safety is absolutely paramount and should be the first thing that's discussed and confirmed before any roofing works are even given the go-ahead. Thank you for watching Roofing IQ. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.